Well, welcome back to Slowpoke Racing and the Ultimate Racing League, sponsored by Eldridge Air Conditioning. And welcome back to the crazy world of BTCC tributes that the Ultimate Racing League is running at the minute. We're at round 3 at Autopolis in Japan. We're on the short course, and this is race 3. 2 fantastic races so far, which has seen 2 different winners actually. Grasshopper took the win in race 1, Brian Moncani took the win in race 2, and we are now in for a treat with race 3. Top 8 from race 2 have actually been reversed. Now this has played almost right into Grasshopper's hands. He finished 7th, I think. Yes, he was. He finished 7th in race 2, which puts him 2nd on the grid, just behind Rossi. So, and I think he's on the soft tyres as well, so we'll have a look at that. So this could be another win for Grasshopper, who knows? So let's have a look down the grid, shall we? Let's get the view we like, that one. There we go. So Rossi on pole position for the first time, and slowly getting used to this Renault is Rossi. So let's see what he can do. Now he is on pole position, and he's got nothing in front of him. Grasshopper, as I've already mentioned, in 2nd place on the grid. Hodgie is 3rd. Then we've got Chris in 4th. Unforgiven in 5th. Now, keep an eye on Unforgiven. He has had some fantastic starts. This Alfa Romeo seems to like flying off the line. So keep an eye out for him when the race starts. Wayne G in 6th. Thomas in 7th. Brian Moncani in 8th. Winner of race 2 was Brian Moncani, starting it right in the middle of the pack, right in amongst everybody now. So a bit of work for him to do to work his way through the grid if he wants another win. Dandan in 9th, Taffy's 10th, Hawkeye 11th, Phaser 12th, and I'm sure he will be glad to see the back of Japan. It has been a nightmare for him so far, but that's just how it goes sometimes. So he's starting 12th. And then we've got somebody's joined us then. He missed the first 2 races, but Sai is back and on the grid in the Honda Civic for race 3, so he's just going to pick up some points. He's missed the first 2 races, unfortunately, but he's here for race 3, which is the main thing. So good to have him on the grid with us. So back up to the top then, and we'll get this race underway, shall we? If I press the right button, there we go. So we'll get these 5 lights lit. We'll wait for them to go out, and then we'll go for it. Now, as I've already said, keep an eye out for Unforgiven there, 3rd on the left. There we go again, another fantastic start for the Alpha, but the Renault of Hodgie just seemed to get bogged down and just couldn't move. So maybe it's just a poor starter, but Unforgiven already up into 2nd as Grasshopper takes the lead. Started 2nd, didn't he? And it may be a Renault thing because Rossi has now dropped down to, whoa, where's Rossi gone? There he is. Rossi's, well, he's made his way up into 2nd. He was down in 3rd as Unforgiven came through, but Rossi now moved up into 2nd. Unforgiven is 3rd after that fantastic flying start that he had. Chris in 4th. Brian Moncani in 5th. Wayne G is 6th. Hodgie 7th. Dandan 8th. Well, we'll just let them have a bit of a sort out as they're going along. So I was just checking my old broadcasting because I got that completely messed up the other day. Hodgie in 8th then, Taff in 9th, Thomas 10th, Phaser, Sai, and then Hawkeye unfortunately down into 13th already, but back up at the pointy end and see what's happening as they all start to come around turn 10. It is Grasshopper leading the way on the soft tyres. Rossi also on soft tyres in 2nd in the Renault, tucked underneath that BMW. Now then, let's see if Rossi starts to hit that NOS button. Doesn't think, oh, he can't, no, it's race 1. You can only use it from race 2 onwards, and Rossi pulls to the inside of the BMW of the Grasshopper. He's got the inside line as they go into turn 1. A great move from Rossi. Sees him take the lead. Grasshopper, not much he could do about that. The slipstream did help Rossi as he moves into lead this race then. Grasshopper in 2nd. Unforgiven still in there in 3rd. Just behind Grasshopper. Chris in 4th and I did say I was going to check what Toyota it was and I didn't, so I'm sorry about that. I will definitely find out. Oh no, we've had a coming together from Chris and Unforgiven. Let's just go back while I was worrying about what car he's actually in. We're going to follow Chris round now. Unforgiven in 3rd. Now what was it at turn 3? No, we're around turn 3 successfully, so around turn 4 and 5 then, the double left-hander, and then we're staring at the hairpin at turn 6. Unforgiven onto the brakes. Chris has a bit of a look at the inside as Unforgiven comes back across, and, well, Unforgiven just carries on round. Chris helps him. Chris has slowed down to give the place back to Unforgiven. It's causing all sorts of chaos. Oh, Chris has gone. It is bonkers. It is absolutely bonkers. Let's have a look. We'll go on board with Dan because he got sort of caught up in all of this. There was a bit of a door bumping session there with Faith. Oh, I'm not even going to try and pick the bones out of that one. We'll let the stewards worry about that. But the main thing is, poor old Chris is all the way down at the back now. A smack with a barrier, so he's got damage at the front, damage at the back. He didn't pick a penalty up, but, well, that really would have been rubbing salt in, wouldn't it? Poor old Chris all the way down now in 13th and a long way off the pack. Double damage. He's got damages on heavy, so Chris is going to have to come into the pits to get it repaired. You can see the battle scars on the front and back of that car. Not the start that Chris wanted, I am sure. So I wonder if he's going to come into the pits or he's going to try and persevere with it. No, he is coming into the pits. He's not going to get far with the damage at front and back. Meanwhile, up at the sharp end then, Rossi still holding on to P1. Grasshopper, though, all over the back of him and just not giving an inch, is he? He will just keep harassing Rossi, but Rossi just soaks it up. He's like a sponge. He's really not bothered who's chasing him down. If they want to get by him, they'll find a way. He's not going to make it easy for them, and he doesn't really buckle under pressure, does Rossi. He just goes about his business. And if you want to get by him, then you better find a way. So Rossi will just stick to his line, and he's got every right to do that. He will not move out of your way for you as Grasshopper tries to go all the way around the outside at turn 10. Door to door, side by side. Grasshopper just couldn't quite get it done. It's a very difficult manoeuvre, that was his at turn 10, but he slots in behind Rossi. Now then, the NOS is open. And Grasshopper just giving it a bit of a burst, I think, was he? No, it was, yes he was, Grasshopper giving it a burst of NOS just to get that pass done with the aid of Slipstream as well. So Grasshopper now moves up in to take the lead of this race. So Grasshopper and Rossi fighting it out. Wayne G looked like he was taking a bit too much grass out of turn 1, but he's still on the track and holding his own in P3, so good racing from Wayne G. Managed to make his way up 3 places into 3rd. Thomas in 4th in the other Focus. He's being followed very closely by Hodgie. Let's jump on board with Hodgie. We've not had a ride with Hodgie for a while, have we? Around turn 6 then at the hairpin, and we are following Thomas. Quick look behind him. We've got race 2 winner Brian Moncarney chasing us down as we come around 100R for the 4th time. And Hodgie in that Renault desperately trying to catch up to the back of Thomas, but Brian Moncarney is all over him as they're going into turn 10. I don't think Brian's going to get a move done here, but he is going to get a little bit closer. Hodgie managing to get a little bit closer to Thomas. Now is he in the slipstream? I think he is, just maybe a burst of the old nitrous to help him get a little bit closer. And well, you can see what the slipstream and the nitrous is doing as Hodgie just breezes past Thomas. I'm sure Thomas is not going to be too worried at the minute, though. He's very early on in this race as he practically gets inside the boot of Hodgie's Renault, has a bit of a look round, maybe nicks the old spare tyre, I don't know, that's what he was after, but Thomas just going to stick to the back of Hodgie. Now that we saw in, I think it was race 1, I think Hodgie used the nitrous and forgot about the braking point, so hopefully he's learnt his lesson as Thomas tries desperately to get that P4 again as they go around the hairpin, and they are swapping and changing. Now if Thomas can hold that line, he will be on the inside. No, he can't. Hodgie shuts that one off and closes the door on Thomas, so Thomas just has to slot in behind Hodgie again. So great racing. Hodgie is an absolute nightmare to try and get by. He is brilliant at defending, so if Thomas is going to make a pass on him, he's going to have to wait until the straight. I'm almost sure of that. And he is going to have to use the slipstream, maybe even a bit of the old nitrous stuff as well, as we saw Brian Moncarney again a little bit squirrely out of turn 11 there, but Hodgie maybe giving it a blast of the nitrous himself. Let's just have a look at this. Brian Moncarney having a look at the inside of Thomas as they go towards turn 1. Brian keeping hold of that. Oh, again, it's the back end of that. Oh, and that's Hodgie that's gone off. No, Hodgie was having such a good race as well. And don't tell me he's done the same thing again. He's hit that nitrous button and forgot his braking point. Well, he's not using the nitrous at the minute. Bit late braking again, I think. It is. He's just missed his braking point again. What a shame. Hodgie was having such a great opening few laps as well, and that has dropped him all the way down to 7th. Just missing his braking point and not getting that Renault slowed down enough before hitting turn 1. It is a difficult turn at the best of times, but if you miss your braking point, well, it just times it by 10. Poor old Hodgie, down to 7th from 4th. I think he was 4th anyway. Then we got Taff in 8th. Now then, that has brought Hodgie right into Taff's firing line. And Taff now has got something to aim at, so he can try and get something out of that GTI. It does look nice and tight, doesn't it, through these lines? Does that VW, or VW, for those of you that remember that advert. So Taff chasing Hodgie down. Now then, we'll just stick with Taff as we come around turn 10, through turn 11 into 12. More of a little chicane, 11 and 12. Then on to this long straight, 902 metre dash from the exit of turn 12 to the entry of turn 1, and Taff not quite close enough to Hodgie to make the slipstream count. Then we've got Si. He's made his way up into 9th, started right at the back. He missed the first 2 races, but has joined in race 3 obviously, but he had to start all the way at the back in that Civic. Now, we said this last week, the Civic didn't fare too well last time out in the BTCC replica challenge that we did, but Si trying to rectify that and bring the reputation of the Civic back, and has moved up to 9th. He actually started 13th, so made up quite a few places. Then we've got Hawkeye in 10th. He's got Unforgiven behind him. Well, we don't know what happened to Unforgiven, so apologies we missed that, but Unforgiven had an absolute storming start, didn't he? Got himself up into the top 3 in the opening lap, but something has happened somewhere. Oh, we've got some damage at the front of that car, so he's obviously been into the pits to get that repaired, and that's why he's all the way down in 11th. Phaser in 12th. Well, look, that car is properly beaten up. The mechanics will be definitely having a word with him when he comes into the pits, but he will be glad to see the back of Japan. He's got damage at the front again. Yeah, the boys in the body shop will definitely have fell out with Phaser after this round. And then poor old Chris down in 13th. He picked up some damage as well after that coming together with Unforgiven, and then I think he had another bit of a coming together with Dan. Not Dan's fault, there was nowhere for him to go, but poor old Chris got spun, smacked the barrier front and back, and I had to come into the pits to get all of that changed. So now a long way off, and a big mountain to climb, and not just the one in Japan. It is enormous big ask for Chris to catch up to the pack now. Meanwhile, out in front, it is Grasshopper with quite a sizable lead to Rossi in second now. These two were fighting hard for the lead of this race, but Grasshopper has finally managed to break the tie with Rossi and pull away. So Grasshopper now out in the lead. Rossi has got other things on his mind now because he is being chased by Wayne G and Brian Moncani. Brian Moncani just took it up behind Wayne G. Is Brian going to have a look? No, he's not. Wayne G goes to the inside into turn 1 with Rossi side by side. It looks like Wayne G has got that job done. Brian Moncani trying to follow Wayne G through, using a bit of that old slipstream. It is 3 wide now as they head towards turn 3. Wayne G just gets his nose in front. Brian Moncani trying to follow Wayne G through. Rossi is on the inside as we hit the double left-hander before getting to the hairpin. Rossi just holding on to P3, but Brian Moncani giving him all sorts of problems. Wayne G has made that move stick and moves up into P2 and tries to pull away from these two. Brian Moncani, let's jump on board with Brian, shall we? As we're going around 100R at turn 8, and there is just nowhere for Brian Moncani to get by. He's just having to stick to the rear bumper of Rossi at the minute. A quick look in the mirror, not that you can see a lot out of that car, but Thomas is there and thereabouts somewhere. around turn 10, through 11, and then into 12, onto the straight. Now then, Brian does like to get through his nitrous very early on, and that's exactly what he's done. And I think he's trying to not use it, and that's why both Rossi and Wayne G have pulled away from him. Thomas has got a lot closer. Oh, let's get the right one. Thomas getting a lot closer to Brian Moncani, and Thomas, I was just about to say, will have lots of nitrous left, and that's exactly what he's got. So Brian Moncani is a bit of a sitting duck really on the straights now, having nearly used all of his nitrous up. Rossi with just under half a tank. Wayne G, well, he's used quite a lot of his, just under a quarter of a tank. So I think Rossi has got the advantage here, along with Thomas, for the closing few laps here. Brian Moncani, that Toyota really is trying to bite Brian Moncani. He is struggling to keep it under control out of some of these turns. Now then, let's have a look. No traction control for Brian Moncani, a very brave man indeed. And that's the trouble, I think, as he comes out of some of these exits out of some of these turns. The back end just wants to overtake the front. A little bit of a wobble going on as well. I'm not sure if that's a loose wheel nut or lag, but he has got Thomas right up his chuff now as they get onto the straight. Now then, Thomas with lots of nitrous, and he's got his finger on that button. Brian Moncani, if he uses it, he's not got a lot left, and Thomas just breezes by. Brian Moncani really didn't put up much of a fight, did he? Rossi in third with Wayne G in second. Grasshopper, well, he's long gone, hasn't he? Got no problems at the minute, as Grasshopper just needs to keep it on the grey stuff, and this race could well be his. He's looking at his second win of the evening, so looking comfortable is Grasshopper at the minute. Wayne G in second. He has got a bit of breathing space, but not a lot back to Rossi, but Rossi has got his hands full because Thomas in the second of the focuses all over the back of him again. We'll jump on board with Thomas again as we try and get by Rossi. Rossi making that Renault as big and as wide as he possibly can. Now then, Thomas going to go around the outside, or is he going to get on the brakes nice and early and try and get the old switcheroo going? Oh, good car positioning for from Rossi there. You can see Wayne G up ahead. Rossi not interested in trying to get in any kind of slipstream, and Thomas, well, he's let Rossi get away really. I mean, he's had a touch of the old nitrous. Brian Moncani still sitting there. We have, what, 6 minutes to go, so there is still a bit of racing to be done here. So probably about another 3 or 4 laps. So the guys have been saving their nitrous up. Grasshopper still got a quarter of a tank of it, so no danger really of him being caught. If he does see somebody in the rear view mirrors, he's just going to hit that button and start to pull away. Wayne G, as he gives it a short blast there out of turn 6, just to get some acceleration, just to keep him ahead of the this chasing pack. And this is where the fight really is taking place as Thomas moves up into P3. Rossi goes very wide onto the grass. Dirty tyres now, so he's got to be careful. Brian Moncani makes the move on Thomas and gets the job done before they get to P10. Brilliant stuff from Brian Moncani, although he has now used all of his nitrous up. Thomas still has some left. Rossi has picked up half a second penalty. I'm not surprised the amount of grass he took coming out of that previous turn at turn 10. But he is still there and thereabouts as Thomas looks to make the move on Brian Moncani. Maybe a touch of the old nitrous there. Brian Moncani has got nothing left. Rossi goes up the inside of Brian Moncani at turn 1 and moves up into P4. Brian Moncani can do nothing about this. Rossi has got a little bit of nitrous left, although when he serves that penalty, then Brian will take that place back if he can't get the job done before they get to the penalty zone as they come around turn 4 and 5 up towards the hairpin. Then for the 13th time, these laps really are flying by. We're just going to stay with these just for another couple of turns, and then we'll have a look and see what's happening elsewhere. Rossi, the bar's starting to fill up, so he will serve that half a second penalty. Brian Moncani still pushing. He just has to wait for Brian to serve his penalty and he can get by, but Brian is so impatient. He wants to get the job done before they hit the penalty zone. But there we go, brakes slammed on for Rossi for that split second. Brian Moncani goes through and moves up into P4, but I think Brian He's trying to open up a gap back to Rossi. I think he knows that Rossi has got some nitrous left, and there we go. Rossi in 5th has hit that nitrous button to get himself right back up underneath Brian Moncani's car. Thomas sitting in 3rd with Wayne G still up ahead in 2nd, so it's going to be a good battle to the end for these guys. Let's have a look elsewhere what's happening. Hodgie in 6th, all on his lonesome. But I'm sure he won't mind that. He can just cruise in and take the points for 6th position. Good racing from Hodgie to hold that P6. Then we've got Dan in 7th. He's got Sai closing in on him. Sai has moved up to 8th, so doing okay in the Civic is Sai. Started 13th and has now moved up to 8th. He's got Dan in his sights. A good battle taking place behind though, with Unforgiven and Taff side by side as they go around turn 3. Unforgiven just getting his nose in front as they hit the double left-hander up towards the hairpin, and Unforgiven, as Taff tries to have a bit of a sneaky look up the inside. Let's just go back and have a look at that again. So they were fighting through turn 3 up towards the double left-hander at 4 and 5. Now just before they entered the hairpin there was a little bit of a gap there, but not much, and Taff tried to get himself in there. Really wasn't room, and that was fortunate. They came off of that a bit better than they ought to have done really. That was a crash waiting to happen, but well done to the pair of them. Taff just slowed down, let Unforgiven get himself sorted. But what that's actually done has opened up a gap between Unforgiven and Taff. So Taff in that GTI, not really got into these races yet. As he takes a big old chunk out of turn 10. He thinks it's rally cross. He's taking that much grass. I'm surprised he's not picked up a penalty as well either. But no, he's still going. Hawkeye in 11th. I think he's going to get a little bit closer to Taff now after Taff going off-road. Then we've got Phaser down in 12th. Well, still going remarkably. I think anybody else would have said, sod this, I'm off, and given up ages ago, but not Phaser. He is a proper trooper, and he's still going with Hawkeye down in 12th and poor old Chris down in 13th after that coming together he had with, well, practically everybody on track, which saw him spun round and had to make the pit stops to get damage repaired. So that's Chris down in 13th. So with a minute and a half to go, Grasshopper with an enormous lead back to Wayne G. It's starting to get a little bit dark at the minute. Wayne G, well, he's just been overtaken by Thomas. A quick burst of the old nitrous from Thomas, and the two Focus now battling away for 2nd and 3rd. Thomas just getting the edge at the minute in from turn 1, but Wayne G fighting back. Wayne G gets himself on the inside as they come towards turn 3, and he's side by side through turn 3, still side by side as they hit the double left-hander. Thomas just getting his nose in front and holding on to P2, but Wayne G is just not giving him any room, is he? Let's have a look at the old nitrous situation. Thomas with just a little bit, Wayne G with nothing. So Thomas has the advantage as far as the nitrous goes, as we are into the last minute of this race. We are watching the fight for 2nd and 3rd. Grasshopper has this race sewn up now. Then he is going to get another lap. He's just come around turn 10, 11 and 12, and he will cross the line, so he will get one more lap in. Thomas and Wayne G, I think, will also get one more lap in with 15 seconds to go before the 20-minute timer runs out, and yet Thomas and Wayne G will get another lap in. Thomas in P2 then as they come towards the end of the long straight into turn 1. He has got just the slightest bit of nitrous left. Wayne G has got nothing, he's used it all up. Rossi in 4th and 5th, Brian Moncani in 5th will both get another lap in. So Hodgie, it's Hodgie, yes he is, Hodgie is the first to cross the line in 6th, so good racing from Hodgie. Dan 7th, Sai will cross the line in 8th. Good race from Sai, started 13th. Unforgiven 9th, not a great race from him with all the accidents. Taff in 10th. Phaser, well, glad it's all over, I'm sure, is Phaser in 11th. Hawkeye will cross the line in 12th with Chris in 13th. So back up to the top, Grasshopper way out in front. I'm just going to see what's happening for second and third, and I think Thomas may just have this one wrapped up. He has got a little bit of nitrous left. Wayne G, well, he just couldn't cope with it, could he? In the end, I think Thomas played a blinder to save his nitrous. Grasshopper though, brilliant racing from him, across the line, take the second win of the day. Thomas, as I said, just held on to that nitrous. In fact, he doesn't need it at the end, he's going to use it up. Thomas across the line in second. Wayne G, fantastic battling from him to take third. Rossi started pole, finished fourth, just ahead of Brian Moncani in fifth. Brilliant racing from the BTCC tribute, guys. I hope you've enjoyed these races. If you have, please remember to hit that like button. If you've not already subscribed, do me a favour and do so, and then you will see when these next races are on. Thanks for watching. Thanks to the guys on track. We will be back next week. I'm not sure where we are, but I'm sure it is going to be fantastic racing. Once again, thanks for watching. I shall catch you all very soon.